Hi everyone, Lewis here, and today I'm going to bring you guys another video which is going to be covering Survivor Nights. I made a video on this a month ago, which the devs were nice enough to send me some footage to talk over, and that video really covered just the basics. I'll have an annotation in the top left if you want to go back and just see the core ideas behind Survivor Nights. But they sent me another video just today, which was shown a bit more detail in specific parts of the game, mainly covering the hunting, cooking, and just surviving by yourself. Of course, in the game, you will be able to go in pretty much every single house. There's electric systems, you're able to loot it all out and whatnot. But if you do not want to live inside a house for whatever reason, maybe there's a bigger threat with living in a house than there is living out in the open, since, you know, there's probably going to be more zombies there, then you do, of course, have the option to do that if you want to do that. On top of talking about some stuff which is new shown in this gameplay video, I also just wanted to talk about Survivor Nights as a whole quickly. It seemed like most people were really impressed with the first piece of gameplay I've shown. I talked a bit about the Steam Greenlight campaign which they were running, and the game is now successfully Steam greenlit or greenlighted, so it will be on Steam eventually. And also they have started up a Kickstarter which is going really good. There's 6 days left on the Kickstarter, so if you do want to go ahead and throw your money off the devs, you didn't have the opportunity to do that last time, but you can of course do that now. There'll be a link in the description if you do of course want to do that, but now onto the gameplay itself. So we can see the crafting menu a bit here, and also the inventory as it is right now. All the inventory is just stored on the right, and all the crafting options are on the left. And then of course you've got stuff like your hydration, your food, which you do of course need to make sure you've got a decent amount. The car, obviously the player was just driving, has a little backpack in the back of it, which is pretty neat. You would have seen in the first gameplay video as well. There's a lot of things you can do inside cars. Like in the first gameplay video, they were in an RV. You were able to customize that and again access the inventory inside it while driving it around. And if you wanted to just stop it for a second, check the inventory, fill up the gas, whatever else, that's already all in the game. So it's cool. But there's a lot of things which you do need to, you know, look after. It's not just a simple case of walking around killing zombies and no one gives a shit. As to no surprise, in a survival game, you're going to actually have to survive. So those are things you're going to have to keep into account, or else you could end up stranded at nighttime in the middle of nowhere. Or in this case, it is mainly just showing off the wilderness, but at least it shows that there is, you know, a lot of room to explore. Because really, we don't know how big the map's going to be. But so far, in the few gameplay videos we've seen, there's, you know, industrial areas, some small villages, stuff like that. So it's nice to see that there is, of course, going to be a lovely wilderness in the game as well. And this right here is what I was mentioning before, the hunting. So, you know, it's pretty simple, but basically you kill animals and you are able to, I'm sure, loot them in one way or another and bring that back to your house. In this case, I don't know why, but the player just goes out, kills a deer, kills a bear, and then just fucks off back to their base. I wouldn't say that's the best hunting ever, but we do get to see that there is, of course, you know, an actual crafting system to cook stuff in a second. And honestly, there's not much more you can ask from a game which is about survival, which, you know, has hunting in it. Like, what else is it going to have other than you kill stuff and you cook it? Like, there's not really much else you can do there unless you're able to burn it or something like that. Also, speaking a bit about, you know, the industrial areas and whatnot, we can see on the outskirts of the player's camera points some large buildings which are, of course, entirely lootable, so you are able to go inside those, and if you wanted to, you could build a base there. You would have seen also right at the start of the gameplay video that the player was picking up the base fortifications around the base itself, like the wall and whatnot, so you're able to pick those up and bring them to different locations if you do want to. And also, a lot of people complain about how the game looked in the first gameplay video, and this is what I was talking about just a second ago. But there have been some graphical improvements. As you can see, the game looks a bit better. The lighting is definitely a lot better. And of course, you've got the beautiful campfire right here as well, which you can go ahead and turn on, and you've got a lovely ambience in the base now, don't you? So this right here is pretty similar to the container which was in the back of a car. I guess you might just be able to craft them then combine them with the car. But you can lock those, unlock them as you can with all doors in the game. And that's really one really interesting thing I think about the game compared to other games. We just don't have that. Being able to lock doors, unlock doors, having an actual electronic system, having to fill up the gas to make sure, you know, the place is actually light. And that's probably why when the game comes out, for me at least, I am probably going to opt to live inside a house. So I think it's going to be a bit more interesting than living out in the wilderness. But as you can see, the fishing is a thing in this game. And you put out your fishing rod, and then you either get something or you don't get anything. Again, a simple system, but it's there. And if you want to live by a beautiful lake, as this guy is, then you can do that. Considering how early the game is in development, it's nice to just see that all these features work. I think I could probably compare it to Unturned, which came out recently, which is free to play, of course. I'm sure many of you guys have played it. But you just didn't think there was that much to it, and then you realized over time just how much there is to it. I mean, it's kind of the same deal with this. It's just surprising that all this stuff works. You could hop on a multiplayer server with I don't know how many people, but you know, you could build a base, you could fortify up a house, you could sort out electricity for your house, you could put gas in the generator, you could get some doors which you could lock and unlock, you could customize your weapons, you can do all this kind of crafting. There's just a lot of stuff to do in the game right now, which is good. And on top of that, it's not even coming out for a decent amount of time, this game, although like I said, you will be able to back it right now if you do desire to do so. And if you pledge for the alpha package, then you'll get that in February of 2015. Hopefully there should be some more gameplay before then, but either way, like I said before, Kickstarter in the description, definitely check it out. But that is pretty much it for this gameplay video. I know it didn't show off too much stuff, but really just go check out the first video, which like I said, there'll be an annotation to. That shows off, in my opinion, a lot more cool stuff. But it's still nice to see that all this stuff works. You're able to live in a forest like this. We just need to see the true survive the night idea of surviving at nighttime, which we haven't seen too much of. Anyway, if you guys would be interested in some more, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and all good stuff. As always, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see you guys next time.